There is no shortage of odious people who gain power thanks to Donald Trump. But if you had to pick just one who should be pushed out of public life, who should hang his head in shame and never be heard from or taken seriously ever again, it would have to be Stephen Miller, the guy who was more responsible than anyone for stealing children at the border, taking them from their parents' arms, the guy who targeted both legal and quote-unquote illegal immigrants for 4 years, demonizing them, mistreating them, making a mockery of the very idea of America as a nation of immigrants, a melting pot. A man who leaked emails show pushed a story from a white nationalist website and recommended a racist novel popular among white nationalists and neo-Nazis. Stephen Miller is probably the most repugnant individual to serve in the Trump White House, which itself is an achievement given the competition he faced for that title. And yet, we are now seeing the normalization of Stephen Miller, and not just on Fox News, where he gleefully concerned trolls the new administration about the situation at the border. Politico just wrote up a new legal group he's launching to harass Biden and quoted Miller in its influential Playbook newsletter like a pundit whose sage thoughts on immigration we should all take very, very seriously. The Hill newspaper wrote a story about Miller weighing in on the royal controversy, as if anyone should care what Stephen Miller, spreader of white nationalist propaganda, thinks of Meghan Markle or of racism. Look, the media have a tendency to treat anyone who has held a prominent government position as worthy of respect after they leave office. But that's not right. Stephen Miller does not deserve to be normalized. Some would say he deserves to be prosecuted. At the very minimum, he deserves to be shunned. I'm joined now by investigative journalist Jean Guerrero, author of Hate Monger, Stephen Miller, Donald Trump, and the White Nationalist Agenda. Jean, thanks so much for coming on the show. Explain to us why, in your view, Stephen Miller stands out among all of the many awful people that Donald Trump hired to work in his White House.
Well, he was not only responsible for Trump's most sadistic policies, systematically separating children from their parents, gutting the asylum system, dismantling refugee admissions, strangling green card access, essentially targeting families, not criminals and cartels, but children and their parents. And I really see him case study in radicalization. This is a story of an extremist who ended up steering national policy and national debate around immigration. As I show in my book, he was indoctrinated at a very young age during a difficult time in his life by a man who believes that everything we hold dear in American society is a result of white men. Stephen Miller was radicalized in the way that so many other Americans are currently being radicalized by the way that he shaped Trump's speeches and the way that he shaped national debate around this issue. And he wields enormous influence now over the Republican Party.
He does, sadly. And just on that point you were making, your book's subtitle refers to the, quote, white nationalist agenda. And we in the media, I feel, don't cover that enough, do we? How Republicans like Miller have mainstreamed far-right, what were far-right racist talking points, especially on immigration and the situation at the border.
Exactly. Not only do we not cover it enough, we also normalize him, and we normalize white supremacist ideas. We are helping people like Stephen Miller launder incredibly dangerous conspiracy theories about white genocide that have motivated acts of extreme white terrorism, like we saw in El Paso, where 23 people were killed by a person who was citing a quote unquote Hispanic invasion. People are, the New York Times profiles Stephen Miller using words like firebrand instead of white supremacist. And as I show in my book, he is a person who invited a well-known white nationalist to his university. He was friendly with a white nationalist named Richard Spencer, and he was inspired by white supremacist literature and thinkers, including a book that refers to immigrants as beasts, as monsters, as swarthy-skinned phantoms, and talks about the destruction of the white world by brown and black people. If you connect the dots between what he did for Trump and the ideas that he's promoting now in the Republican Party and right-wing media, it's very much about these white supremacist ideas that he was radicalized to believe at a young age.
And it's not just young age or ancient history. He was sharing this white nationalist propaganda while in government. 2 other colleagues in government, 2 underlings. And I'm just amazed that was never a bigger story. And now here he is. We expect to see him on Fox News. That doesn't shock me. But to see him in some of the more quote-unquote mainstream publications being treated as just another government official, former government official, is truly shocking and shows what a short memory some of us have.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.